In my personal opinion, I would put this at like 125 speed if you want to truly get through this video, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I don't like my voice, so I always do it. So, meh. Anyways, on to the video. Okay, I'm not going to make this long. The other one started getting into like the 30-minute mark, and I'm not editing all that. So, this is another review of Rwby. Still don't like it. Rwby, the thing about Rwby is, I'm going to stop taking it seriously after this. The thing about Rwby is it has a lot of useless characters. It has characters that are just there for convenience. It has character attributes that are missing, or they're there for convenience. Like, some people can fight, some people can't fight, some people use their semblance, some people can't use their semblance. I'll get into that later, but stuff like that. You have plot points that are just blatantly ignored. You have the world that is blatantly ignored. There's a lot of problems I have with this show, but I'm gonna stop taking it seriously. We're just gonna talk about the episode and how I genuinely felt about it. I didn't like it, and I'll give you small reasons of why, because I don't want this video to be as long as the 2 videos I made before were, which is me basically like point by point telling how garbage it is. It's not gonna be in any specific order, by the way. The fight with Neo and Team Juniper and then Oscar. That fight was bad. Like, it was just, I think most people can agree that fight was animated really bad. Neo, this really fast-paced, light-as-air type fighter, was so slow and sluggish and useless and barely moved. It was bad. It was badly choreographed. The team didn't work together at all. Team Juniper can fight. They just act like they can't fight for convenience. They could have worked together and they didn't. I'll respect the little thing they had at the end with Ren, with the whole Nora thing, with Neo turning into Nora and him feeling a bit bad. But other than that, there was a lot of stuff that didn't make a lot of sense. Even in that fight, you'll see that John moved really fast to defend Oscar from the attack with his shield. Like, he was on the other side of the room, if you notice, and he rushed over to defend Oscar. And it was like, what? But you can't hit her? What? It was confusing. You had the fight with Penny, Winter, and Cinder. Now, again, they stopped using parts of the character's semblance or their fighting styles or anything for convenience, like they did with Blake. Does anybody remember glyphs? Does anybody remember glyphs? Where were her glyphs? She never uses glyphs, ever. Like, we know that she can use them as platforms. She can combine them with dust. Remember time dilation? When was the last time you guys seen time dilation? What happened to these things? Do they just not exist anymore? Are they not here anymore? Like, Winter never uses these things, and we know from Weiss, because Winter's basically like a advanced version of Weiss. Remember, she's trained by the military that's so great. She knows she can use these things, but she chooses only to use summoning and her weak, danky-ass swords. So she can't use those things and never was able to use those things, but now it's like she just sucks at fighting and everything, and she's just terrible. Like, Rwby and them can beat up the Aesops, but she acts like Cinder is just, she's not, it didn't really feel like she was trying, I'm not gonna lie. Penny felt like she was trying to hurt her more than Cinder was. Penny, again, it doesn't seem like they're as good as how they used to be, which is weird because they're older now and they've gotten more upgrades and they're more advanced now, but it seems like everyone's just kind of sucked when it came to their powers. And I'll say this, I feel like with Cinder, she's not strong and she's not a good fighter. She never has been. It always seemed like she just overpowered people and lasted longer, basically. Like, she had, even if you hit her, like with the fight with Pyrrha, even though Pyrrha was beating her ass, low-key, Cinder had, like, she was more durable, but it was like her fighting sucked, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what Cinder's problem has always been, that she's not good at fighting, but she's good at lasting longer than other people. But in this case, it kind of seemed like they wanted to show that she can fight when she really can't. The fight wasn't choreographed well, and it kind of was boring, honestly. I could skip both fights, I'm not gonna lie. They could have just cut those fights out. They could have just, like, had them be, like, 10 seconds and then just flash to it being over, and I would have been fine. The maiden powers thing confused me, because Winter's just like, this is what a truly realized maiden looks like, basically. And it's like, okay, well, how do the maiden powers work? And again, they don't explain shit, because it won't be convenient if they have to follow whatever they explain. That's why they're changing characters all of a sudden, and they're having characters having these changing moments. It's like, oh, they changed their fighting style because they're different now. It's like, no, it's because it's convenient for whatever bullshit you're trying to pull later. To say they changed so drastically that Blake literally forgot about her other sword and now swings around like a monkey. So with the maiden powers, it's like, okay, so does the maiden powers have to be unlocked? There more to it? How do they work? What all can you control? Is it, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it like with Ozpin's powers, apparently, which they never talked about it, nor was it ever brought up to Oscar, nor any of that, because reasons, you know what I mean? Ozpin just never brought those powers up to him. How does it work? Explain it, you know what I mean? Because that's important. I know it's a lot of the time they try to do, like, the showing us, not telling us type thing, but some things do need to be said. Some things do need to genuinely be explained. The Silver Eyes is an example of something that did not need to be explained, but we took time explaining it. You get what I'm saying? Like, we all kind of figured out how the Silver Eyes work because it was kind of obvious. The Maiden powers have so many different components that's like, you can't just figure that out. You're gonna have to tell us. If you don't tell us now, then whatever bullshit you pull later will be like, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because of some other shit. Or it will confuse me, I know. It maybe won't confuse a lot of other people, but it's something that should have been said. And it just, that whole thing just confused me. And just adding another little pet peeve, I love how Team Rwby obviously fought their way through to get to the ship. Like, they fought Atlas soldiers, and John and the rest of them were just like, fighting Atlas soldiers? Hell no, we're not doing that. Like, we can't do that. They're attacking us. It's like, you could fight them. It's not hard to take, we've seen before, it's not hard to take out the Atlas military, especially the little grunt workers, and it's not hard to take them out. You could have fought them. You could have fought your way through and got that relic, but they just didn't. Penny being the Winter Maiden. That, I'm not going to talk a lot about that, because that was kind of fun. That's the only good thing, honestly, in my opinion, that they did. That was, like, really well. It shouldn't have been anyone else, but for it to be Penny was just like a kind of a surprise. But also now that comes with a bunch of consequences and things I know for a fact they're not going to explain and they're not going to expand on. But so I'm not going to open that can of worms because I know that I'm going to have no closure with it. But that was okay. That was a great thing. Now that I think about, we're talking about Team Rwby getting on that ship, they just left Crow. They didn't even look for Crow. I just realized that. I know that Crow's all locked up, and so is Robin, but they didn't even really look for them. Did they even search? Did they even know where Crow was? Because if they knew, even thinking about, if they knew where Crow was, or they knew where Crow might have been heading, did they go look for him? They just kind of left him. Now I think about it, I didn't even think about that. They low-key kind of left Crow. They're just like, well, he'll find his way, you know what I mean? And again, it's like this weird thing where they're just like, family, what's that? In Rwby, it's like, family, we'll forget about them like that for whatever reason, but when it's convenient, everybody's, you know, Rwby and Yang are family, you know, Crow's in there too, they're all family, but family's usually forgotten sometimes. It's weird. It's weird how conveniently that it's forgotten. Now, I'll give this. Another thing is that Winter in this episode was like my favorite character, because even though she's a shitty character and she has no real meat to her, like she's just kind of what she is, I like that about her because it's one of the only things that is really consistent in Rwby. She was consistent throughout this entire series. She was who she was. She did what she did. Even when you go to like the mangas and the comics, Winter was who she was. She'd always been the way she was, and she didn't do this whole drastic change so they can pull out some plot point out of their ass. It was just, I'm loyal to my country. I've been doing this for years. I love you as my sister. You need to find your own way, because this is mine. Because she turned on Weiss in that last part like that. Like, she didn't care. Like that. Like, she didn't care. She was just like, I'm following orders. That's what I'm going to do. She should have been what Ironwood was. Where it's not this smoke and mirrors bullshit and what she says and contradicting what she does. She's told her, like, I'm following orders. This is what I was told to do. This is my path in life. And I'm going to follow it until the end. Everything I do is going to reflect what I'm telling you. Except for, like, you know, small moments where that's her sister in some cases and it cracks. But she's very, like, this is what it is. So I really liked that about it also, on top of the Penny thing. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is the last part of it, which, I mean, the whole Salem with the big whale and the flying monkeys and the Grim just like coming in. It just, again, we don't really know her strategy either. Like, we don't know Cinder's or why she's doing what she's doing, but we can kind of guesstimate on it. And why are you here? Like, what are you coming here for? Why are you coming here now instead of doing this before? That's my question. When she came in, my first question is, why are you here now? Because you could have done this months ago. Like, we see all the Grim that are surrounding her kingdom. We've seen her make Grim. Like that, the amount of Grim she made and has found that were basically just like flying towards Atlas. That's like, why haven't you done this before? That's what the big question that opened up to me. And again, I had the sneaking suspicion that question will not be answered in this series. And it's just to the point where I'm just like, that's a big question that you have to answer. And you're not going to do it. And it's just like, that even brings up a bunch of like plot points that just get holes like slammed into them with like a sledgehammer, and it's just a lot. That's why the other videos were so long and I had to delete them, because it was a lot. It was like, there are questions that I know aren't going to be answered. That's the thing that made me frustrated. When a show makes me ask questions, that's fine, but when I know they're not going to get an answer from past behaviors, oh my god, it's intense, man. But yeah, that's pretty much my review kind of this episode. I missed some things. I'm sorry. My head hurts from watching this. I'm not gonna lie. The last thing I do want to say is that I just wanted to put this out there. That, you notice how like Robin's supposed to be the helper of the people, and she's supposed to be like the candidate that we all love and trust because she helps the people and she cares about the people. What has she done for the people? Like, what have we seen that she's done to help people to where they would, like, the people would be like, yeah, we want this lady on our side, we want this lady elected into office. We've never seen her really do anything. We've seen her have a big talk, but sure, so has Ironwood and so has many other people. But we've never seen her like really be a character at all. She was kind of Clover, where like she was there for plot development, but the people around her didn't get names, or if they did get names, I don't even remember them. That's how nothing they meant. She got no character. We didn't see her. We didn't see Atlas. We barely saw Mantle and really understood. All we understood was that Mantle was struggling. We didn't understand the culture of Mantle, how people maybe are a little bit different. Like, we didn't really get that full like experience that I feel like we got with like Menagerie, or we got with other places of nothing Atlas. Maybe you can have an argument for Mantle, but Atlas, we got nothing. Also, now I think about it, now I talk about Clover, does anybody remember that Clover was dead? Did anybody even care that Clover was dead? No, because he wasn't there for anything but shipping and some plot development for Crow. Like, again, they don't use their characters correctly. I swear I'm just gonna do a video of like characters that were underused. Like, Mercury and Emerald had great potential and they were just tossed to the side. Like, they were trash. Neo could have had a great backstory, a reason to be a likable character other than that she's just the best girl and she flips around and she's really pink and Rwby chibis and she looks like ice cream. Like, she could have had genuine reason other than, well, Torchwick, we don't know her relationship with Torchwick other than the surface level that we saw in the show, but he died, so that's why she's doing what she's doing. And it's like, okay, well, what was her relationship with him before? How did she meet him? Why can't she talk? Was it an accident? Was it just how she was born? Why didn't she have any family? Why did she turn down the life of crime? These questions could have been answered, and then she could have been a fully developed character and actually had a personality. But of course, Rooster Teeth isn't going to do that. Of course, they're not going to even try. I get that this was Monty Ohm's project, so they can't change a lot, but it's to the point where it's like, it feels like they've kind of given up on it, low-key. Like, that's how much it's falling apart. But, yeah, I'm done. That's all I'm gonna say. See you.